Greetings. Ramayana Relevance, a great text for well-being. As we come to the end of 2024 and we begin a new year, 2025, we always aspire to do good, to do better than before, and think about the good things that have happened to us. And one such thing is to rejoice in the friendship. So friendship, it is all said that friendship is much valuable and worthy than even family relationships. And the Ramayan, which is a living text, which is an aid memoir, proves this many a number of times. And we thought that it would be a very useful exercise to ponder on the importance of friendship as highlighted in Ramayan. Ramayan is a Adhikavyam written by Valmiki, and its scope and its importance and its value is eminent in its varied forms of Ramayan. Whether it is Kirtibas Ramayan in Bengali, Giridharadas in Gujarati, Kamban in Tamil, Ezhuthachan in Malayalam, and different forms of Ramayan expressions as a Natakam by Bhavabhuti, poetic structure and combination of poetry and prose by Kalidasa and Bhoja in Champu. The list goes on and on and on, showing the importance and showing the strength you gain from different expressions of Ramayan. So Ramayan for Hindus is a Shastra. It's a great religious text. Shastra mane Shastra, Sasanati iti Shastra. That means it's an instruction book, a guidebook per se. And Valmiki himself says that not only it is a guidebook, it is a itihasa, it's an historical document, it's a poetry, it's a kavya, and it's also a text set in musical rhythm and tone. But of all these aspects, for those in Hindu Dharma, Lord Rama is none other than the Supreme. Jagñe Vishnuhu Sanatanam, as states Valmiki. So he is none other than Supreme. The Supreme took the form of human, Mayam Manushyatanum, so that we are able to witness a perfectly lived life. So we popularly call Rama as a Maryada Purusha, Aadharsh Purusha. So Valmiki labors, sometimes he gives up, but he labors to such an extent to show that the hero of this great text, this Itihasa, is a human being born to perfection. So he did not yield himself to lust, he did not yield himself to wants, he could control his anger. So he is a spotless human being. But it was very tough for Valmiki to portray this because the divine aspects of Ram keeps coming, but Valmiki made it a point for the benefit of people like us who live in 2024 and who expect 2025 to be a better year, that I'm going to scribe a poetry, a poetical text which shows the hero who will stand the test of times and who would be relevant. So Ramayan is a relevant living text. And one aspect is friendship, because when we expect a new year to come, apart from good family, We all long for a good, healthy friendship. So, friend is a sakha, sneha bhava. So, Valmiki makes it a point and he himself says, and I am going to portray a human being who valued friendship. Nrinam hi sadrisham ramacharitam varnitam. Nrinam hi sadrisham. There again he says, I am going to give you a human being like, but he is a devata. Because those supreme qualities are very difficult to imbibe. Not only imbibing them, but to practice them is difficult. Rama practiced. The hero of this great text practiced. And this short episode is going to portray how this Ramayan text is relevant and how it beautifully elevates the level of friends and how it beautifully elevates the importance of friendship and how each one of us would have benefited from good friendship. So Rama says, when Vibhishana comes to take refuge in him, Mitra bhavena sampraptam natyajeyam. I'm not going to let anybody go if they come to me expressing their friendship. That's all he cares for. Good friendship. Truthful friendship. Mitra bhavena sampraptam natyajeyam kadachana. Satam yetat agarhitam. People, great saints, great books give value to this kind of friendship. And if somebody comes with good friendship, one has to protect. Even though Ramayana is a great Shastra, equal to Veda, Nana Purana Nigamagama Sammatam Yad Ramayane Nigatitam Kvachiti Anyo Anyatopi. Tulsidas says beautifully when he began Ramacharitra he says, Nana Rupa, Nana Purana Nigama Agama Sammatam. All those that is said in text, whether it is Veda, whether it is Purana, whether it is Agama, or other text of good values. Nana Purana Nigamagama Sammatam Yadramayane Nigatitam Kvachit Anyatopi Swanta Sukhaya Tulasi Raghunatha Ghata Bhasha Nibandam Ati Manjulamatanotu. It gives so much happiness. He says Swanta Sukha. We can also interpret it as it gives us that much comfort, not only for Tulsi, but for us. And we are taking one aspect to show how Rama gives value to this friendship. So even family members, Rama says that when Lakshmana convinces Rama that he will accompany him to forest beautifully, Valmiki says, Snigdho dharmaratho viraha satatam satpate stitaha. Not only Rama, even Lakshmana is also living according to truthfulness, righteousness. But, hey Lakshmana, you are my brother, but more than you are a brother, I value as my friend, that too closely ever living friend, ever sustaining friend, to put it in a better way. Snigdaha. Valmiki could have used a word suhrt, that means whose minds are alike, but he didn't use it. He says snigdaha. It's like that you are always associated closely with like-mindedness, like activity and like thought. So he uses the word snigdha. Snigdha mane, it's like sticking always together. That is a friendship. Snigdho dharmarato viraha satatam. You are a great man of bravery. Viraha. Always living in righteousness, but you are very close to me. We have an inseparable friendship, even though they are brothers. Valmiki insists the importance of the friendship, truthful friendship. Snigdho dharma rato viraha satatam satpate stitaha priyaha prana samo vashaha bhrata chapi sakachame. You are my brother. Even though you are my brother, I value more than that as a friend. So this is the importance of friendship. So when he meets Guha, when he meets Sugriva, when he meets Vibhishana, he embraces them as friend. The Tamil poet Kamban beautifully says, which is an oft quoted and used poem, Guganodum Aivaranem Munbu Pin Kundru Survan Maganodum Aruvaranem Yem Urai Anbin Vanda Ayya Agan Amar Kadalaya. A man who had come with such a beautiful friendship which Valmiki says, Mitra Bhavam. Yen Urai Anbin Vanda Agan Amar Kadalai Agan Amar. Truthfulness. Wholehearted friendship. Ninnodum Yezhuvaranam. Pugalarunkanam Tandu Pudalvaral Polindan Dasaratha not only begot 4 sons, it is you, Guha, it is you, Sugriva, it is you, Vibhishana. He got 3 more additional sons. So your father, not my father. He says, hey Vibhishana, your father is blessed to have 7 sons with the addition of Guha, with the addition of Sugriva, with the addition of you. So there again friendship. So he treats his own brother Lakshmana because of his selfless service attitude and because of the support he received from Guha when Rama goes to the forest to protect Dharma. Then Sugriva, because Rama and Sugriva witnessed the same kind of agony. And then Vibhishana, who wanted to always stand at the side of truthfulness, righteousness. That's very important. When we have witnessed so much wars and different difficult political situations, economic instability, we need somebody who could stand with us, snigdha snehaha. We need somebody who is more than a family member, who is more than a brother. He is nothing but a friend. So in everybody's life, people would have witnessed. So Ramayan portrays the importance of friendship, truth friendship. Agan Amar Kadal. That means Agan Mane, the friendship that is sustaining, that is within you, true, within your heart. Kadal Mane, affection, friendship. So Ramayan is a text not only as a Shastra, it's a relevant living text. And there's so many attributes that comes out of Ramayan. And aptly we chose the importance of friendship, and everybody witnessed such friendship, and it is the duty to show how Ramayan lives in such attributes which we witness in people. And in my own life, I am blessed to have 2 people whom I have met during my 50 years of life. One is my closest friend for 30 years, he is more than a family member. He is a friend, true friend. Ramayan portrays the importance of friend. So typically, one could say he is. When I see of these people's Ramayan comes to me as a living text. It's a dynamic, living text. So one such one is a clinician and a scientist based in Toronto, Dr. Manika Vachagam Sundaram. He hails from a very remote village, but village which has history in Saivite tradition, Avdayar Kovil. So I happened to know him through a letter I wrote when I was 23-year-old, trying to migrate to United States to do a PhD in Leeds. Emails were not there, so I just wrote a letter. And the friendship sustains 30 years. Never expected that I would get a reply. Off I get a blue overseas letter from England saying that you could come and stay with me until you find a place. Then he came to the Leeds station. He picked me up. He gave me space to stay in his room. Then luckily there was a room available in the house he was renting. So I could start my friendship. And the friendship did not start well to start with for 2 years. Then the troubles we went through, the support I got from him, immeasurable support till today. He is like a family, more than a family. Not a single day goes without receiving a telephone call from him. That is snigdha bhava. That is the friendship. Whether it is about my health, my professional difficulties, problems with my family's health, he is always there. And I am blessed that he, being a clinician, could provide first-hand information and first-hand health. He is a good uncle to my son, gives wisdom, gives advice, and also advises me, even being in a harsh way, where I should change and rectify myself. So, What Ramayan says, preaches about friendship, I am witnessing daily for 30 years. Not a single day goes without getting some kind of a support or not getting any help from him. So it's mutual. Dr. Manik always says that feeling is mutual. So that is friendship. So I see the text of Ramayan in people like Dr. Manikavasakam Sundaran. That's the personal experience. The another experience is I would like to portray the friendship, the support between an husband and a wife whom I know because they have become friends to me. But more importantly, I would like to portray the friendship, the bhava, the snigdha bhava between one Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathi and Mr. Parthasarathi Srinivasan, who passed away a year back. So the beauty is, we know people who have lived husband and wife, best and better halves. But in my own experience, I am in awe to see this kind of give and take between husband and wife as I witness in Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathi and Mr. Parthasarathi Srinivasan. The story is amazing. The support each of them gave to each other is amazing to tell, which again I see the words of Ramayan living in these people. Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathi practiced dentistry in Chennai, India for 30 years and then opted to come to United States to do PhD when she was 54. By then, her husband, Mr. Parthasarathi Srinivasan, was already 62 years. So, can you imagine somebody giving up their flourishing career as a chartered accountant in India and then migrating to support a wife and a daughter who needs help, support? So, he gave his career and basically he helped them giving rides and taking care of the family while Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathi was doing her PhD in Oklahoma. After then, she moved to Dallas and then now she is helping people and saving lives as a 3D specialist, helping with surgical planning at Nations Children's Network in Columbus, Ohio. Can you imagine somebody migrating to a new country when they are in their 50s, receiving the support from the spouse who was already 62 years old, gave up the flourishing career, and more importantly, also needed to support a daughter who needs attention. So this gentleman lived for their family. So like these people, like Dr. Manikavasakam Sundaram, like Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathi and Mr. Parthasarathi, one would witness so many living personalities who are nothing but living embodiments of characters specified in Ramayan, which Rama himself lived, Maryada Purusha, Aadharsha Purusha. He lived. Can you believe that today he is going to inherit the kingdom? That morning, due to a wicked act of a lady, he was asked to leave to a forest with nothing in hand for 14 years. And he was such a dutiful husband that he didn't even want to take his wife, not because he just wanted to stay away from her. He didn't want his wife to go through the sufferings. But then look at like Jayanti Parthasarathi and Dr. and Mr. Parthasarathi, Sita, the heroine of the epic, Sita Ma, convinces her husband that she wants to be part of his life. And more importantly, brother Lakshmana, who didn't have to go through this stress, he said, Sarvam karishyami, I will do everything for you. Jagratascha swapatascha. Even when you are sleeping, even when you are awake, I want to be at your side. Rama accepts him as a friend. Like I have a friend, Dr. Manikavasakam Sundaram. So like these, Ramayan, what happens is Ramayan people, Valmiki himself says, Brahma, in the text, Brahma says, hey Valmiki, this true story you are going to write about this hero Rama will last forever, as long as moon and sun, as long as stars, as long as rivers, as long as these oceans are there. And not only we read it as a text, religious text, we read it as a guidebook. Not only we read it for its poetry, mellifluous flow of poems in Sanskrit in 32 letters, Anushtup. It brings to your vision and thought about your own community people who exhibit superior traits as a brother, superior traits as a husband and wife. So Ramayana is relevant. Ramayana is a living text. So the authors, whether it's Valmiki, it's Kamban, it's Ezhuthachan, it's Girdharadas, or Bhavabhuti, or Murari, or Kalidas, or Bhoja, Raja, they all have said this again and again, whatever the Shastras and Vedas are saying. All these are books. In whatever culture it is, there are good books. They give us ways to live, but if you tell those instructions based on the life of a well-lived hero, it rings closely to you. It brings those activities closer to your heart. And that's what Ramayana does. And I see friendliness and support systems in people like Dr. Manikavasagan Sundaram of Toronto, Mr. Parthasarathi and Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathi of Columbus. So it's very important as we wrap up this year to think about the support we receive from friends and family members and the community, and thank them and wish them well. And to me, every day we read Ramayana and we lecture, and I lecture Ramayana in Hindu Temple of Labak once a week. It makes me feel that this text is relevant and we see these characters in our own community, in our own backyard. And those people are living embodiment of those attributes and characters personified by Rama. And we wish and hope that we could see personalities like Ram, Sita, and Lakshmana, and Guha, and many, many good characters specified in great texts as Ramayana. Wish you the very best for 2025. Mangalani Santu. Shubham.